Mike, what did you think of the Phil Jackson hiring? Do you think that he could do the magic that he does as a coach, as a president?
Well, I think it was a great hire. It's watching it yesterday, it just gave the fans so much hope. And I took the train into the game tonight, and I can't tell you how many fans were so pumped up about it because it gives them hope. And I think when you bring somebody with this kind of credibility, with this history of success, it really does give fans hope. And it changes the perception of people in the organization because you got a guy that he's not going to stand for anything less than the very best. And obviously he's doing a job he's never done. But he brings in, we talk about intangibles with players all the time, right? It's a constant discussion. Yeah, he's got skill, he's got athletic ability, but his intangibles. Well, Phil Jackson, to me, he has the ultimate intangibles. Whether he was a player, whether he was a coach, and now a president, he has this aura of confidence about him that makes you believe in him and what he's saying. And as I said, he has this history of success that's unprecedented that you have to trust because of what he's done. So, I thought it was obviously a great day for the organization, but it was a great day for the fans.
The negative byproduct of it, though, it does seem to spell the end of Mike Woodson, especially when you hear the story, as we did from Jim Dolan, how this started off as him being the next coach of the Knicks and then moved on to being a front office member of the New York Knicks. Is it just bad that a good guy like Mike Woodson, in a very important part of the Knicks schedule, is kind of going through this? I've heard people say, the coaches, they make so much money, what's the big deal? Well, these kind of things, it's not an easy profession. It's a demanding profession. It's a profession where you're out in the spotlight all the time. When things don't go you well, even if it might not be your fault, you're the one that gets fired. When teams play really well, often the players get the credit. It's a hard profession, and that's why they're paid well. And Mike has been, the way he's handled this whole season, the ups and downs, the speculation about his job, now the latest thing with Phil coming in, I don't know if you could handle it any better. I think he's put on a clinic on how to handle it the right way. And the thing that I think is impressive is, the team really obviously well short of the expectations, yet he still kept going with the same message every day. And here they are with a chance at the end of the season, and what for most of the season has been bitterly disappointing. They're still fighting, and I think that's a credit to him.
Now, at the end of last week, Mike, I felt that the Knicks were actually going to catch the Hawks because the Hawks had been so bad. But I think that win yesterday over the Raptors was a real killer. I mean, we're running out of games here, and I don't know if the Knicks could make it up. It almost puts the Knicks in a position where they have to win tonight against the Pacers, a game that I had given them as a loss.
Yeah, no, it's 5 in the loss column with 15 to go is very, very difficult. And I watched the game last night as well, and I think their last 4 victories, they were trailing in the fourth quarter. So all 4 of those games easily could have gone the other way, but you give credit to them. They've been able to, after that bad losing streak, I mean, they went through a brutal stretch. They've been able to kind of gather themselves. Part of it was Paul Millsap being out. So it is going to be really, really hard. The Knicks don't have any margin for error. I think I saw somewhere they have to go like 12-3, and with a West Coast trip and the Miami games and Chicago games, it's really going to be hard. But at least, from what we've seen the last 6 games, granted, the schedule hasn't been all that difficult. At least they're fighting for it right now.
Well, that was going to be my next question, Mike. How much of it is discovering the fight? How much of it is it finally coming together? Or is it just really, hey, they caught teams at the right time, all of them with losing records in the 6th straight?
Well, I think tonight's going to give us an indication of that, Don. The level of competition clearly steps up in a huge way. But, there were a lot of games earlier this year where, 1 or 2 bounces and it goes the other way. They had all the luck for a good stretch was all bad luck. So, they could have easily just thrown in the towel the way the things before the 6-game winning streak. I mean, it looked absolutely impossible. So from that standpoint, you give them some credit. You wonder, where was this kind of energy? Where was this togetherness earlier in the season? And it drives you crazy if you're a fan. It's maddening because the team, it's a pretty good basketball team that just hasn't played well.
Now, your ESPN broadcast partner, Jeff Van Gundy, has never been a fan of Phil Jackson's. Was it tough when you broke it to him that Phil Jackson got the job?
Well, I think Jeff would be the first one to say he has much respect for Phil as anybody. They had their combative relationship back when they were going against each other. It was good, healthy fun. But I think he also thinks you'll have to ask him, but in chatting with him, thinks it's a great move because the guy is, he's a proven winner, and he's somebody that's going to come in and take charge and has his vision and has his plan. So from that standpoint, I think he thinks it's a good move.
Now, I know you did the game the other day with Yubi. What does Yubi think? What do the people on the NBA that you've spoken to think? I mean, is this like, we had Donnie Walsh on. He said, I think it's a phenomenal move. I think it's going to really work out very well. Have you run across anybody that kind of arches their eyebrows and go, not really?
No, I mean, everybody says the same thing in that it's a great move for the credibility. It's a great move to put somebody in charge of the basketball operations who has, again, the history of success. And everybody says, but can he have the same impact on players that he did as a coach, with clearly not being around them as much? And that's the question that needs to be answered. And I think he answered some of that yesterday. His ability to relate to people and get the most out of people and get people to connect together, that's always been the key. And just in the way he talked yesterday, he got the feeling like he was getting the whole organization to connect together and get on the same page. So it's almost like he started with his opening press conference.